November 27th, 2021. It was a Saturday night at about 5 o'clock that I was looking at Airbnbs. I messaged the host. She got back to me very fast, and I booked the room at 6 p.m. and left. At 9 p.m. I arrived in West Warwick, Rhode Island. It was a little renovated hotel, so each room was locked and there was 3 separate floors. The common areas were shared, but I had privacy in my own room. I spent the afternoon doing research about the area and listening to music, just enjoying time alone. I was honestly pretty nervous about coming because I've never done an Airbnb by myself. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I just would not want to be alone in the past or be too afraid to do it, and I am glad I decided to just go for it. I forgot my toothpaste, and they have a little shower caddy with like everything I could need. Full bottles of shampoo and conditioner, and the bathroom's like right across the hall across from me. There's a game room here too. I didn't use it, but and every single door is locked here, so I felt pretty good. But I did have one nightmare, and I woke up every hour because I was like, where am I? But it was great. I think I'll go get breakfast and go to the beach and then head home. So in the morning, I decided to get breakfast at Brewed Awakening, which was in the same town I rented the Airbnb in. After that, I took my breakfast and my coffee to Conimicut Point Lighthouse in Barrington, Rhode Island. I then drove probably about 20 minutes or so to Buttonwoods Beach, Rhode Island. It was very cute because it was an entire park with some sports fields, and there was people walking and riding bikes, and there was very, very tall trees all around. It was beautiful. And then it opened up at one point to the spot where it was on the beach, and there was places to sit and little overhangs to sit under also. And it started snowing when I was there. It was very beautiful. I then decided to drive over to Oakland Beach, and this was my favorite of the 3 that I visited in Rhode Island. It was very rocky, so I decided to climb up on the rocks and sit there for a while. It was a very, very wide view of the ocean also. And then when I looked at the GPS, I realized that it was only about an hour to Connecticut. So I picked a beach and I drove all the way there. I think I might have made one stop on the way. Where I ended up in Connecticut was Eastern Point Beach, which is in Groton, Connecticut. And it had a view of Gardiner's Island, New York. So it was really cool to see another state over the water. I really wanted to drive to that exact spot so that I could see Connecticut from the point of view of New York. But I realized just to get there, I'd have to drive past New York City and all the way through. And it would take many, many hours. So I decided to just barely drive into New York, which would take about 2 hours and 22 minutes. And I would arrive at about 4 p.m. It was 103 miles of a drive. I took a short break in Orange, Connecticut, which I think was about halfway. There was a lot of traffic, so it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. And the sun set pretty quickly. I ended up stopping in Harrison, New York. I drove over to Rye Town Park and Beach in Rye, New York, and it was very dark. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the sunset like I hoped to. I could see it partly in Connecticut as I was driving, which was really beautiful. And then I just enjoyed the beach there for a few minutes. It got pretty cold, and I drove 3 hours back home. It was 195 miles. So overall, in those 24 hours, I drove about 449 miles. And in that one day on Sunday, I drove from Rhode Island to Connecticut to New York to Massachusetts to New Hampshire. So I did 5 states and 5 beaches in one day. And I woke up not expecting that at all. But I highly recommend making a trip by yourself and having no plans and just going with the flow of everything and really connecting with yourself in those moments, making memories all by yourself. It is so fulfilling and beautiful.